Hey, welcome to our first episode of Tech 16. I'm going to bring on Steven Singleton today, who's directing our AI operations for Region 16. It's going to be a great episode. Don't miss it. Okay, so Steven, the Wild West of AI. We're right in the middle of it now, right?
Yeah, it's the landscape of this is unbelievable. I mean, it's an expansion, a gold rush all at once, just to like embrace technology that if you go back 1 year didn't exist. Yeah. And then all of a sudden things today that exist today, you're going to see something tomorrow that comes out that didn't exist today that literally will come out in the next week or two, right? So it is the Wild West gold rush of technology.
Well, I remember just after COVID, ChatGPT came out and we were on it as Region 16 and we thought we were just pushing the envelope. What's happened in the last 2 years? How have things changed and how is society just changing because of the way that AI has adjusted in just a 2 year period of time, let alone like 3 months?
It's hard to fathom. Like you look at Facebook, in 3 years of Facebook, there were 50 million users. ChatGPT after 3 years had 870 million users. Gemini, not even to 3 years, Gemini still under 3 years old, has roughly 770 million users on it today.
That's incredible.
So when you start looking at the landscape that Facebook hit 50 in 3 years, and just between two platforms, they're well over 1.8 billion users. And you add Copilot into that and Grok, and it's not one company that has the market for like a tool. It's all these companies. And so it's like, where do you go? What do you do? It's like, what do I do with my hands? I don't know which AI to actually grab a hold of and use sometimes, and it's because of all the different tools that come out with it.
So how are schools, people, even businesses going to keep up? Because with changes happening so quick, we're not talking about the old days with like Microsoft, Windows, where it comes out in 2000. You see the next one in 2003, or arguably the better one in 2005. What do we do as a society to adapt?
I think we adapted well through technology, and Michael, you know that better than anybody. Is you talked about Windows updates, and you had to have somebody that could run the updates for your company and also let everybody know that you can't work on it for a while, right? Because they're running an update. I think we're going to see an adaptation in business, even for our students that are coming out of higher education and even high school now, that are going to have skills developed around artificial intelligence, because the businesses, like you said, are going to have to adapt. And the way you adapt is by the skills being employed by the kids or by the employees they're hiring. And so I think you're going to see them start to bring in people with those skills to mold and adapt that program as they go.
So on that, I want to kind of probe that just a minute, because one of my fears as a CIO, as a technology person, is just looking at the scope of what it means for jobs and what it means for kids today. So for my entire career, I've really pushed, get kids in code. They need to learn code. They need to learn technologies. But even today, like in the last 60 days, we've moved from a static point where we were doing everything manual coding to now we're actually we've got 3 apps in development, building it fully agentically. And the way we build agentically is completely different. Even if it's building on the same standards, it's completely different than the way we built manually. What does that mean for kids? And more so, like when we have kids in school learning coding, does that change or shift the model for teachers? And as far as the pedagogy, what does that look like?
I think the big shift I'm seeing is, and there's a lot of good use cases out there. So when you talk about this, I start looking at Walmart just invested in 2.1 million employees to learn AI. But they're doing it in a way that is, you need to learn it this way because that's how it'll benefit our company. So they added some different parameters set in with Walmart, right? Well, you start talking about the coding side of things, and what you're saying is, or what you're alluding to is that our kids that are coming out of school now have to understand people. Because you have to understand, if I now am let's say I did finish coding and I have that, but you want to work at the same pace and operate at the same speed as somebody that is vibe coding per se, or running 7 or 8 different agents on their vibe code, to outdo you, you have to understand to take what a client wants and get that into that vibe code, right? Wow. Whereas in the past, you've had all this time to do it. So I think we're seeing the magnification of something we've always said our kids need coming out of school, and that's the development of soft skills. That's the development of being able to work with people. But also understanding you have to have the human agent in there. Like it can't all be the technology agent. So you still have to have this ability to understand how to communicate, how to take what was communicated and develop with it. And so I don't know, it's like a crazy time, right?
Yeah.
But if I went in and started coding today and I just learned how to code and that's all I knew how to do, that skill is known now by all these other people like me who don't know how to code. So you know how to code.
So you're fighting the battle against.
I don't know how to code, but I can outcode you if you're just coding.
That's right.
And you let me go vibe code, right?
Sure.
And so I can outcode you in lines of code like 10 to 1 or even more.
Yeah. Well, we recently built a program that, what is it, in 3 weeks?
Yeah.
We're talking 86,000 lines of code, and we had it valued at somewhere in the neighborhood of $300,000. And that was
Just
less than a
vibe
month
coding.
of work.
Just vibe coding. And it's funny, you take 2 people and they turn into 10.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're vibe coding, if you had gone out, you'd have had to hire an engineer, you'd have to hire somebody, multiple different types of coders to help with all the different ends. And you're going to know that better than me. I'm not that guy, but I can do that just by typing into a machine. And so it's not taking away from the value of a coder. It's reevaluating what does a coder need to do.
Yeah.
And so I think the learning, that's one of the big things we've noticed is when we've looked at workforce development in that area of AI and what are some of the changes we see coming out of that, really is that our kids or even current employees in certain jobs, Walmart's a good example. They have an automation line. Plainview has this automation line in their distribution center. On the automation line, they cut out all of these jobs. Because they were going to automate it with AI.
That's big news.
But they added like 50 more than what they cut. It's a different skill.
That's right.
And so I think it's re-examining what skills are needed and us focusing in that area. Like, how are we getting these skills to our kids? And that's where I think you have to have somebody constantly looking at the landscape. And what's crazy is we used to be able to predict, hey, in 10 years, this is the skill, in 5 years. And now it's like, hey, in 10 days, the skills are going to change, right? It's just this, with that landscape changing, it's out there.
But the skills are changing, but you kind of touched it. There's kind of nothing new still under the sun. It feels like the Wild West. There's new technology. We're in this industrial AI revolution, but we're still talking about communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity. The same things we've been talking about for years in education probably haven't done as well as we should, but now it's essential. Kids that can't do those things and can't engage with a human. Would you agree that AI is not so much about taking away our jobs or separating the human from the work as much as interfacing humans with humans in a more direct way?
Oh, 100%. So what you just said is kind of what we live off of here, right? So we try not to make any decisions in artificial intelligence unless, and I've had to add a word to this. Like, we were actually talking with Google a couple of weeks ago, and she's like, you have to add the word enhance. So what I'm about to tell you, we're going to add the word enhance, okay? But our background with this was, we are not going to use AI unless it creates more human-to-human interactions. The whole goal was to maximize our ability to get away from the screen and get in front of a face, and to be able to provide service to our school districts, provide support to people. And the best way to do that is by being able to talk to them. Well, we were trying to create time. And then the piece they wanted me to add to that was, hey, you need to enhance human-to-human interactions.
That's incredible. I love that.
Create more opportunities to enhance human-to-human interactions. And that's what we go with.
Outside of AI entirely, you and I were both on a call recently with a company, and the interface with that company was really difficult because the person talking to us had a real opportunity to sell something, and they missed that opportunity, largely because the people doing the conversations with us were digging into the weeds of the technical, didn't know how to communicate, didn't know how to focus on the need of the customer, being us. And when you can develop those skills, which is what we're talking about, enhance the skills of communicating and collaborating with people, AI becomes a real tool because it allows us to do some mundane work and everyday stuff while we really build that enhancement of communication with people.
1,000%, Mike. You said it best. So in AI, the best way I word it, and I say this sometimes when we go out and we work with different school districts, is it's created more of an awareness of those skills being needed bad.
That's exposed the gap.
It's really brought that out. And so it's like you said, you're going to take the company that doesn't have that skill, but could know the product inside and out and could know the coding inside and out. and you're going to take the company that has that skill of being able to relate to you. And that's what people want. They want you to be able to relate to them and understand me. And it's make me feel important with it, right? Because after all, we're looking at a service and asking for a service or a product to come out of that. And so I think it's just magnified the need for those skills a lot more.
You know what I found interesting? I heard a quote recently on Asian countries. So China mandated every kid has to have AI integrated into their curriculum. 18% of American students actually use AI. And then on the opposite side, a different country that's more democratic, Korea. So Korea doesn't touch a computer or a screen until the 5th or 6th grade.
6th grade, I think.
And then they're all in, and they are so far advanced above us, and as far as the way they pursue technologies, advanced technologies. We have kids in the 6th grade literally programming language models, but they don't touch a computer until they're like 10, 11 years old.
It's hard to imagine, right? Some of it I think is fear, right, around it, but then some of it I also think is we don't understand or see it. So it's like you don't know what you don't know. And so I think part of what we're trying to help do is also bridge that, right? So bridge what you just said, bridge some of that either the misperceptions, but also the general perceptions of why is this important? Why is this a race? I mean, it's important enough that you see just in the last, 6 months since April and May, even into the summer of 25, you started seeing all the presidential mandates around AI. You started seeing executive order after executive order. You just saw executive orders around data centers. Somewhere there's got to be a tie-in to that, right? That to advance in our society, to keep advancing in the way it is, we've got to be able to go into the classroom or with our kids and our students in K-12 and go, okay, here's how you can benefit, or here's how our society would benefit coming out of that. But I think it takes a lot. It takes a lot to get to that.
Wow, that is really incredible. I got 2 more things I want to hit in the session, but the fear around it. So just thinking about, I've heard a lot of things around AI that just kind of scare people, not just on it's going to take my job, but even on the idea of heard of like prank calls where they, someone's calling and saying, hey, I'm stuck in a warehouse, give me $50. And it sounds like someone's granddaughter or something.
Dude, have you seen the video?
No.
There's an actual video. Okay. So there's video. And if you notice, video and AI is made in 8 seconds, right? So there's 8-second snippets. So when you watch part of this, do we have the video?
Yeah, show the video. Let's show the video. Yeah.
Just show the video. You've got to see this, and then we're going to talk about it.
In a stunning development, Canada has declared war on the United States. Let's go to Joe Braxton, who is live at the border.
I'm currently at the border, but there is no war. Mom, Dad, I know this looks kind of real, but it's all AI.
Grandpa, I'm fine. This is just AI. You don't need to wire money to anyone. I am not in love with you. And I do not need your money for a plane ticket. I am AI.
This fake moon landing footage isn't classified. It's AI.
You're probably wondering how I got rich with crypto. The truth is, I didn't get rich off crypto. I don't even exist.
You might be able to tell this is fake now, but it's going to keep getting better.
We're all AI.
There could be aliens, but I'm not one of them. I'm AI.
An herbal supplement did not cure my cancer. I'm not even real.
Uncle Fred, the government has not been taken over by lizard people.
You don't need to send us $5,000 in gift cards because you missed jury duty.
Grandma, it's not real. It's AI.
It's AI.
It's AI.
Bro, it's AI.
Fake faces.
Real consequences.
Think before you trust.
I appreciate the message of this video, but it was all made with AI too. So can we even trust it?
It looked pretty real to me.
Man, that is ridiculous.
Like when you see that and you go that like the one in one of the scenes throughout this video, this girl's like, I know you can't tell this is real. And I'm like, oh, something's wrong with me because I think it's real. So when you look at it, that's the guardrail side, right?
And this is the baby level.
This isn't what's happening in 2 years. No, and you go back 1 year and this barely happened. 1 year ago, that was barely becoming an option for us to do.
Think about the adoption of the iPhone, disrupted the entire cell phone market and took years.
And this just happened overnight. And now you go from, like, it was funny in November, I was at a conference and they were like, hey, 1 year ago, we couldn't, or September. So in September, I was at a conference. I said, 1 year ago, we couldn't even do this.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the 8-second video and they were excited about it. And we got 8 seconds to be able to be produced by AI. And they're like, and by the way, today we hit 60 minutes. Like, can you imagine the advancement in technology? And then a few months later, you can put in one video of 8 seconds, another one of 8 seconds, have it fill a whole gap and create an entire commercial for you.
Sure.
Or marketing design around your product.
Or a movie. Can you imagine the first Hollywood movie that's AI developed?
That could just be all AI. But you've already got songs, right? Like, have you seen on, like if you go to some of the music platforms, right? They actually have AI playlists.
That's incredible.
It's songs 100% completed by AI.
I've heard of a few where they take like a song like Michael Jackson and make it like 1930s country.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
And it's
like, it's really good.
Like you never thought you could just go and write a script and go, hey, make me a country song.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and you have to be careful about doing that about your coworkers. Like, I never should have wrote that one song about you.
You really shouldn't have. And I hope that doesn't get on the internet.
I got to get better.
I
got to get better about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to what you said, just on the video side of things.
Yeah.
They did it in 8 seconds. I mean, you look at a reel, like what's the typical time someone looks and scrolls? You know?
Yeah.
And there's a direct correlation behind some of that. It's attention getting, and there's a reason these things come out the way they do. But it's so that it's not just so that you won't look at it.
Right.
Like, it's a tool they want people using because it's collecting data, and
Absolutely.
that's going to data centers, and that's growing. And speaking of that, like, oh my gosh, the amount of data centers popping up.
So
just
where's
in
the
our
bubble
area.
on that? Like I think about just 2 years ago when GBT came out, I looked at the $20 version. I'm like, I'm never paying $20 a month for an AI. I just use the free thing. It's great. I switched to the paid and it was incredible. And now, Stephen, I have 4. Like you 4 of these things.
Keep
like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like I need just pick one. But I got
they're smart and they probably used AI to write that marketing plan,
they
right?
Did,
to get to reel you in. Like if we want the Michael Keels of the world to buy our AI, will you write me a plan for that? And that's what they did. And now they're like, hey, if you go up to like $280 a month for like for some of them, like the big accounts, we'll give you all of it. And
but I'm
get
so
all
productive.
the new things. And it's crazy
Stephen,
what you can do with it.
I'm doing 10 times the work with less effort than I did 2 years ago.
You know, think of it. So like just even using Gemini, you can create Google Slides.
Yes.
So I can upload all of the things I want slides about, have it created.
I used to spend hours
typing
building
those
slides.
in. Yes. And you're not typing them in. You're not doing it. And then you can even add like your branding to it and it'll brand your slides for you within reason, you know. So it's just the advancements.
Well, don't get me started on Notebook LM. Like what it can do for business and for education is unbelievable.
There's use cases out there working with businesses in the Amarillo area. I've been just taken back by how fast some have adopted and embraced it. Yeah. And then also the efficiency by what they're using Notebook LM to achieve in their company that was taken 1 to 2 weeks or even days sometimes to do.
Hours, minutes.
And it's done in seconds. And they create templates in it. And they're able to get exactly the data extracted from it that they need on the spot.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is you talk to it. You don't even have to type that. You click the microphone button and say, I need these things. And it spits it out and you convert it to a doc and send it off to the people that need it. So, and you that's the beginning, right?
Sure.
Like, this is where we are today. It's like every day is a new beginning with AI.
So how are they going to keep up? We talk about this bubble that keeps on growing. Yeah. Users are using this more and more. Businesses are depending on it. I mentioned how my job literally depends on it because I'm doing 10 times the work as I was doing, 2 years ago. So what does it look like as this bubble grows? Does it pop? Are we going to adapt as a country?
I think you're seeing that adaptation in front of your eyes, right? Mm-hmm. So anywhere you go in the country right now, you start to see the development of more and more data centers to support exactly what you just said. With that brings everything from praise, risk, reward, all the emotions that go with that, because there's different thoughts around data centers. There's all the different things.
A lot of fear.
A lot of fear around those. Like we're not going to have any water left, And I listen because I don't have a judgmental view on it. I'm just trying to understand it, like most of the people, most of the communities that are seeing data centers come in. I'm also trying to understand that if I'm looking out for kids and students, in the Texas Panhandle, then what do they need to be able to go into that data center? Like what's the data center going to require of them?
Well, we talk all the time.
Skills.
We don't want kids going down to down south to Dallas or even go to California to get a job. And if these are the jobs that are going to be available, it'd be so much better if they're here.
And we want them here. It's a grow your own, right?
Sure.
So it's the thought of the grow your own initiative of we want to grow our own workforce, and we want them to stay in this area and stay to be a part of the Panhandle, Panhandle proud of this area. So I think there's a lot to that to handle that amount of data. It's like you said, it's not going to stop. I mean, just look what Tesla just came out. Look what Uber's doing. Look what Google's doing. You look at what some of those companies are about to roll out, and it's all AI. But that data has to be stored somewhere to train that.
Sure.
And so that requires data centers, which require energy, which is the other side of the coin, right? Yeah. Like how are they getting energy? I mean, Fermi announces they're building the largest data center in the world in our backyard. Like that's kind of
incredible.
It's like a, wow, what? Yeah, what are you doing? Like, let's talk about that. And I know those conversations continue to happen, but in this whole thing, we just have to take the view of what can we control versus what we can't control. So there are uncontrollables out there we can't do anything about. Data centers coming to town. That's great. Okay, well, I can't control that. Do I have a voice for it? Yeah, absolutely, but I can't control that. So what can I control? I can control how I can go out and try and support our kids, support our schools, create more of that workforce development here around the data center, ecosystem, if you will. And they're everywhere. I mean, Pampa just got another one.
Hereford's
getting one. Childress. You just go around and see Vega. They're everywhere. And there's a Bitcoin one just outside of town here too. But they have to have that infrastructure to carry that data.
Well, there's so many different types of data centers. You have the big ones like Fermi, and then you have the small micro ones like the one we just put in.
Yes.
Which is requiring no power, or just normal power, and no water. So there's a whole spectrum of data center. You can't just say data center and mean one thing.
No, absolutely not. And I think people we tend to do that, right? We think data center and we're like, they drain the lake, all the things that go with that. Like there's no water left because they put a data center in. Yeah, in some regards, like you said, they don't use any more power than a house.
Yep.
And in this massive one we have coming is not going to use any more than 10 to 11 center pivots worth of water, right? That would be used in a field. So
even from the power's perspective on that, I think they're looking at using some advanced power down the road. Like within the next 10 years, they will. I think they're going to pivot the power to some modernized, possibly nuclear or other types of modern aged energy systems.
Yeah, and they even announced that nuclear option for their power. Yeah. Right. And I think they even announced the engineers that they have.
And I think that scares people too, but it's not the same nuclear as we had 20 years ago.
No. And the giant stacks and people see that and that's what they
melts
think
down
of. That's there's a lot of fear with it, right? When you start thinking about words that you hear, but that's just because we use association. So with words, when I hear words, I associate it to one thing. And I was the same way. The first time AI was out, I was like, absolutely, we're not doing that. I thought about the Terminator. Right?
Yeah, okay.
Sarah Connor's going to come running in my office in a minute and the world's going to end.
Sure.
And Skynet's here. Like, what's going on? And then 6 months later, I saw this benefit of what happened to even teachers in the classroom. At the time I was working at school, and I saw teachers that went, I actually had time to work with kids because I did not have to design 20 different ways. And they're focused on kids, and that's what I love about the Panhandle and our teachers here is they focus on students and they pour everything into them.
Gosh, if we can have AI work in such a way that gives teachers more one-on-one time with students, that's a game changer in itself.
And the eye-to-eye, face-to-face, those soft skills we want to develop, kids can't develop those unless they're getting those. Yeah. They're seeing them firsthand. And so, like you said, having our teachers do that would be amazing to be able to create more of those opportunities for them.
Yeah. Hey, I want to leave you with the last word, but before I start, just one thing that this is always on my mind lately with just this movie. I don't know if you've seen Hidden Faces. Have you seen that?
No.
That's a good movie. You got to see it.
Okay,
so it's
okay.
it's about the early days of the first computer, or the first mega computer that lived at NASA. And so you had these workers that were called computers, and they would manually enter data for NASA. And so the head of the computers saw that NASA was putting in a supercomputer, and all the NASA engineers, they couldn't figure it out. Well, she took her entire team, it's a whole team of ladies, and they went over there and they learned the IBM supercomputer. And the only reason NASA was able to be successful is because these people saw that their job was ending, and they saw a new path, and they created a pathway where they were the experts in this. No one asked them to do it. They just saw the technology on the horizon and said, we are going to do this. And I just feel like we are in a Hidden Figures moment for the people that step into a future where they say, okay, this is what's coming. I'm going to build my path. We really have an opportunity as a people to build your path. I think millionaires are going to be made like today, because they see the future and they start working towards a path. And a path that I know somebody right now that literally had a high school diploma and is now making six figures because they spent 6 months learning AI.
How to get in.
How to get in.
It. Yeah.
It's
incredible. Some people view it as a leap, but it's a small step now, right? I mean, it's so accessible, and it doesn't matter where you're at, you're using it. And so not to say you don't embrace it would be to say you don't own a phone. You've never gone anywhere, ordered food. You know what I mean? Like to say you don't already embrace that is to say you're not doing those things. And so I think that it's like you said, for our generation, for the people in this workforce right now, Michael, it's that time more than ever, right? And you reimagine, and don't even reimagine, but try to imagine things you've never imagined being able to do.
Wow.
And now you could go do.
That's incredible. Hey, I appreciate it, Stephen.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.